not have been able to produce maybe large number of progress and things like that. Why some subcommittees depend on the outcome from the other subcommittees to make specific progress. But overall, subcommittees that are not yet active, basically, have actually progressed to start drafting documentations, in terms of the terms of reference for their specific subcommittees. So I will begin first with the steering committee, which mainly features the AfricaBP leadership, and is made up of Anemugai, myself, Apollinaire Jinkeng, Julian Osuji, Ntanga Mafole, and Catherine Ziomo, basically. So again, we have them on the website, and you can just check our website, which I'm also going to talk about in the last slide. So one of the things we want to do, as we've talked about over the past few months, is that we believe that this project should be, coordinated from within the continent. And one of the things we are aiming to do that from January 2022, this will officially be coordinated, basically, and I would be supporting as well, because we kind of need to ensure that we're able to support the project delivery system. So I'll be working with Professor Anemugai to ensure that everything is going on well, and also Apollinaire Jinkeng will be doing the same. And the Institute for Biotechnology Research at the Jomo Kenyatta University have actually agreed to host AfricaBP. So I understand that, again, it might take some time for all of this to settle in. So we'll always work together and see that all of this happen quite smoothly. And I understand that even beyond this, there will be several conversations on, there would be challenges we do know about that. So, and we've also been able to, so just to confirm that the director of the Institute for Biotechnology Research have actually agreed. So I think we need some paperwork to finalize that, basically. So then we've also been able to develop the AfricaBP website. So again, I would talk about that later. In terms of public engagement, this year we had a workshop at the Biodiversity Genomics 2021 conference organized by the Sangha Tree of Life. And we then actually were planning a workshop as well at the Plant and Animal Genome Conference in San Diego in 2022. So Catherine Ziomo is actually coordinating that bit. So one of the things we're planning again is that we're planning to have a first annual Congress on biodiversity genomics in Africa. So because the idea is that while we're doing all of this remotely online, it's very important that we plan. I understand due to the travels, basically, it's a bit difficult now, but it's something that is there, when travel restrictions are lifted and when things, start to go back to normal. And when we're able to have at least physical meetings or a full hybrid meeting. So it's to be able to come together and have this conversation and kind of talk about some of these bits, especially on issues of Nagoya Protocol, access and benefit sharing. So those are very key issues as well. So in terms of partnerships, we so far since June or July, we've been able to secure 18 institutional partnership, mainly, and how we do this is mainly through the memorandum of understanding. So it's not a binding agreement, but it's an agreement that kind of provides partners some understanding about the project and what partners' responsibilities are, as well as what AfricaBP responsibilities are. So we have 3 corporate partners and then 5 associate project partners. So we are involving 2 collaborations with much larger, with the vertebrate genome project and also the 10,000 plant genome project. So I'm just going to talk very briefly about that as well. Then, okay, I've talked about the national nodes and regional nodes. So we've nominated regional nodes and currently nominating national nodes. So there are some countries that we have quite a lot of countries that are not yet represented. So please, if you can't see the name of your country in this list, so please feel free to send me an email and we'll let you know the steps you need to take in order to maybe be a national node as well. So again, in terms of Nagoya Protocol, in order to help us understand very clearly what some of these needs are and how to navigate, across country, we started the roundtable meeting with the national focal points. So the idea is that each month we have 1 or 2 national focal person who comes to, through an online forum, make presentations to understand the deliverables for that particular country, and then kind of know how to deal with that. And that will also help us work together in the future when we don't need to connect with the national focal points across the country. So I chaired the one for this particular month. So, but going forward, Professor Emmanuel Kwandong would do this on behalf of AfricaBP, and it will be the third Thursdays of every month. Then we also have the VGP list, which has been reduced from 18 to about 10 or so. And we have in the sample collection and processing committee, we also have specific members who have been helping us with permits. So I'm sure at some point, Reina and Tanga will talk about this during the interactive session. They have also drafted the sample collection TOR, the sample collection committee, and I think they are also looking into some SOP for sample collections, basically. And I think I must say that that committee has been very active, and So Horizon 2020 call. So we got this notification from one of the AfricaBP members about the EU 2020 call. So, and we think that there are some aspects that AfricaBP could potentially be eligible for. We don't know yet if AfricaBP is eligible for them. So one of the things we did is to assign this to Julian, Catherine, and Anne to kind of look at this and also send this out to other members to see if this is something first we're eligible, because we're not so sure if this is dedicated to an European host institution or an African host institution. But I think that there are some elements that requires African institution, and also there are, one of those call is basically an Africa Union EU funding call. So I think it's like a joint call. So, but the details is a 500-page document. So I'm sure Julian, Anne, and Catherine will be talking to us about this tomorrow, because we'll be looking at this basically, and of course, looking at next steps. So some notable points basically that we're building AfricaBP from the bottom up. So bottom up approach, having some grassroots mobilization. So, some early careers and also some established scientists as well. So we also have at least more than 60% of early careers. So we also would want the established scientists to also support the early careers and see how we can properly anchor AfricaBP onto the institutions across the continent of Africa. So for the sequencing and assembly subcommittee, so we have the SAS subcommittee. They are developing the framework document, which hasn't gone to the website yet. So partly because it has not been presented to the AfricaBP leadership. And of course, I think Abdullah Sharaf would maybe do that at some point. So one of the things we try to do is to identify specific laboratories that we think we can actually sequence. And these laboratories are laboratories who are connected to AfricaBP through the partnership or have signed the partnerships. So we also have other laboratories, but basically we tend to just feature those ones that have confirmed the partnership and perhaps gearing up to do one or two things. So we have the NICD in South Africa, in Kaba, and also in Dalo. So we're looking for more potential reference laboratories that we could potentially use for some of these activities. So for the annotation subcommittee, again, they're developing the framework, and in February, they'll be having the first workshop to look at the annotation framework, mainly from Ensemble, using the Ensemble gene build. In data analysis, as well, the same thing, because most of the data analysis subcommittee and the annotation subcommittee relies on the genome sequencing and sample collection in order to start getting heavily active. Then the IT and infrastructure, and I think with the IT and infrastructure, the framework document is being developed. I think I don't know, maybe Suresh might talk more about this. And one of the things I also do know is that we've been approved for REDCap, So again, Suresh, maybe at some point, if you're on the call, you can also maybe throw more light on this. So in terms of public affairs, we set up the website, which was launched in September or late August. And overall, so far, we've had about over 400 people who have visited the website. And so sometimes per day, we have like 40 persons who go to the website, and the lowest sometimes we have about 10 people who go to the website. And so far, more scientists in the United States and United Kingdom have viewed the website than scientists in Africa. So of course, you can see that from this colorations here. So I am hoping that maybe by the time we publish the position paper, that will also help in terms of pushing the project to countries in Africa as well. And of course, we can also use our personal networks to do the same. Then we have about 30 Google groups in AfricaBP. So because due to the number of people in AfricaBP and the kind of project, the kind of things that are actually being coordinated, we've been people in Google groups and kind of just send messages to the Google groups send messages that are relevant to specific Google groups. So for some Google groups, they are moderated, which means you can't send an email to any of these Google groups, while some is kind of open in the sense, especially if it's like a subcommittee Google group, then it's easy for the emails to be sent. Now for the partnership and fundraising, we have Aneke Lincoln. She was able to finalize the framework document before moving on to other activities outside AfricaBP. Then Charlotte Nderibe has now taken over from her. And Charlotte has been working on the proposal for the AfricaBP Open Institute for Genomics and Bioinformatics, because one of the things we want to do is that we sequence the genomes and the data is there. Then what next? What happens to it? How does this, feed back into African institutions? So we felt that we should have a proposal that focuses on this, within the grant challenges, because there are about 5 grant challenges in AfricaBP. One of those is knowledge exchange and industry. So we feel that there should be, within that grant challenge, there should be a program that helps to address that knowledge exchange gap. So, and we call that the Open Institute. So, Charlotte rather is working with other scientists in AfricaBP to see the best way for this. So they kind of have a proposal about this Open Institute. And this will sit within the partnerships and fundraising, because it is within this subcommittee and this program that will be able to see how will African institutions help in analyzing the data, for instance, and help in other capacity building efforts within AfricaBP. So just some overview about meetings. So we usually, just as I mentioned, this is annual general meeting. Then we also have the monthly general meeting. So each month we meet, the AfricaBP members and partners, they'll meet, come together to talk about the project progress and talk about the next steps. So there's also the pilot committee meetings, which also meets once per month. These are mainly the pilot committee members. Then there is also the pilot chairs meetings. So each subcommittee within the pilot committee have 3 chairs, and those